Hi, and welcome to this edition of Montgomery County Police Beat. I'm Patrick Lacefield, your host. I'm director of the Montgomery County Office of Public Information. Every month or so, we get together with Police Chief Tom Manger to talk about what's going on in the department and how the issues are affecting the community. Chief Manger, welcome.
Always good to be here, Patrick.
You know, when people think about first responders to any emergency situation, they think about police officers, they think about firefighters, emergency medical technicians. But you've got a group of folks that really are among the first of the first responders.
They are.
People that staff the 911 center.
The folks that staff the 911 center are as crucial to public safety as any group that you've mentioned. These are, as you say, the first of the first responders. When folks dial 911, they want a quick response. They want to know that they're going to get the help they need very quickly. And it's these men and women that are on the other end of that phone when they dial 911 that make sure that happens.
And what are the special kinds of skills that people need to have this job? I imagine it's not for everyone.
No, it's not. I will tell you that the ability to multitask is an understatement. When I listen, and I often will go to our emergency communication center and watch these folks in action, and whether it's the call takers who are taking these calls from individuals that are going through tremendous crises or are experiencing really tragic circumstances, or the dispatchers who are keeping track of a dozen or more police officers, firefighters, directing them where to go, making sure they have the up-to-date information on whatever call they're responding to. It's amazing that these folks can keep track of all this stuff. I hear, I have often been on the radio and have heard, you get 5 or 6 cops that are, shouting, their locations, and they need help over here, and they want a check on, a computer check on an individual that they have stopped, and all of this is going on at once, and the dispatcher just makes, it has this calm demeanor and gets everybody the help they need. I am in awe of what these men and women do every day.
Now, I imagine, too, the improvements in technology have changed this field immensely. I mean, what have you seen over the breadth of your career as a police officer?
Well, one of the biggest changes is that it used to be that if you needed anything, you had to get on the radio to ask the dispatcher. You had to ask the dispatcher to make a telephone call for you, or you had any computer check that you wanted to run. Right. You had to go to the dispatcher to do it. And I can recall, stopping 3 individuals that I thought were involved in a crime, and I wanted to check to see if any of them were wanted. Well, you've got to give their names, their date of births, and you're on the air for 30 seconds or more, giving spelling out the names and everything. Now officers can do that in their own car on the computers they have in the cars. Now everybody's got a cell phone, so we can make the calls ourselves. Dispatchers don't need to do it. So it has changed the role of the dispatcher quite a bit, but what hasn't changed is that necessity to really make just bring calm and some sort of direction to this chaotic situation that we often find ourselves in.
Right. Now, it's really important for people to know when to call 911 and when not to. I mean, I know a couple of years ago, we had a small earthquake in the county. It knocked over some lawn chairs, I think.
Right.
But there were people, even though it happened at 4 in the morning, as I recall, there were people who called 911 just to say, "Was that an earthquake?"
Right. It's fun, we did have some minor damage,
Right.
and of course, folks that had damage to their home or whatever,
Right.
it certainly was
Right.
Understandable to call
Right.
911. But to call 911 to ask routine questions is not appropriate. I mean, we get folks that will call 911 to say, "I'm lost, I need directions to a particular location." That's not what 911 is for. 911 should be used only in emergencies. When someone has a medical issue, if there's a fire, if you have some police emergency, these are the things that's the reason we have 911. And when people use 911, call 911 for something that's not an emergency, then there's that could be one less person who actually has an emergency that can't get through in a timely fashion.
Right.
I mean, one of the things that I think the public doesn't understand is there are a limited number of lines coming into our 911 center. Now, 99.99% of the time that works fine. But when you have an incident, like the earthquake, when you have an incident like the derecho, we get this flood of calls coming in from the public.
And I would imagine sometimes it's 20, 30, 100 people calling about the same thing.
Exactly. That's the advent of cell phones.
Right.
I mean, now when we used to get a crash on the Beltway, a bad crash on the Beltway, somebody would have to drive home to call, say, hey, I saw this crash on the Beltway. Now everybody that passes is calling,
Right.
and so you get 20 or 30 calls from this same crash. All of these calls tie up the 911 lines, and so you've got to be concerned about that one call that's coming in because somebody is thinks their spouse is having a heart attack. You want to make sure that call gets through.
Gets there first.
Right.
Right. No, absolutely.
And so it just comes down to people need to understand that there's a non-emergency number, 279-8000 that they can call. There's 311,
Right.
of course, that people can call for general county information. Don't call 911 unless you have a real emergency.
Right. Well, the other thing, I guess, is when let's assume people do have an emergency and they call 911. I mean, there must be a way that they can get the information quickly to the dispatcher. In other words, there's probably a tendency on the part of some people to say, okay, well, I'm calling about this, and then to begin to go into a long
Right.
description
Right.
of whatever that this is.
Right. And normally the dispatchers or the call takers will take control of that call very
Right.
quickly. I mean, they know the information that they need.
Right.
Now, what's important for folks calling is they need to remain calm. They need to listen to the dispatcher, answer the questions. And one of the things that the public needs to understand is that the call taker will be asking a lot of questions. Please understand that we've already gotten help is already on the way.
See, people don't understand that
And
at all.
so they say, why are you asking me questions? Please send help. And the dispatch or the call takers will tell them, well, we've already dispatched the police or the fire department to be there.
I'm just getting more information
Yes,
to help them
exactly,
when they get there.
Because the police officers, firefighters continue to get updates so that they know more about what they're arriving,
Right.
what the call is when they arrive, so that they can have a better response.
Right. Now, I know that the county has started a campaign to try and encourage people to make the right call.
Right.
And I believe this is a brochure.
Yep.
Make the right call, 911 for emergency, 301-279-8000 for non-emergency, and then 311 for general county information.
And this has been a terrific program, 311. I mean, we saw an immediate drop in calls to our 911 center when 311 opened. I mean, there was just immediate 10% drop, and it's actually increased a little bit over time. So I think people are understanding more and more. But we have these brochures in libraries and community centers at all the police stations, and they're
online.
It is, and it's really important. I think number one, for everybody to sort of review this and remind themselves, which is the appropriate number to call, but also, teach your children about, the 911 and non-emergency so that they know. I mean, people just assume that, kids know this stuff, and so this is good information for everybody to have and review.
Another question is, when you call 911 and then you hang up, you'll get a call back.
That is, I'm glad you brought that up. We get probably well over 10,000 what we call 911 hang-ups every year. And if someone dials 911 and then hangs up, we will call them back, and we'll make several attempts to call them back to make sure that everything's okay. And if we don't get an answer, we end up dispatching a police officer to that location. If we know where the call came from, we'll dispatch a police officer to that location to check out to make sure.
So in other words, if
okay.
you call 911 by mistake, stay on.
Stay on and let the call taker know
that it was a mistake. Otherwise,
So,
it can hang up the system.
Right. I accidentally dialed 911. Everything's okay here, and that, because if we don't, then again it ties up one of our call takers trying to make the call back, and then it possibly could tie up a police officer to respond. And we do this now every once in a while. It doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while we'll go and we'll find that it was somebody who dialed 911 and then passed out or something. So that's the reason we follow up on it, to make sure that it wasn't an emergency.
Right.
But again, 99% of the time it's just somebody who dialed accidentally, and it would help if folks just stayed on the line and let us know that it was an accident.
Well, and I know that in terms of 311, if people call 311, even though it's an emergency, 311 will immediately put them on to a 911 operator.
Absolutely. You know, people need to understand that not only do we have a very well integrated system, that if you call the non-emergency number, you're going to get the proper response. You know, folks think, well, gee, if I call 911, I'll get an answer faster. You might, but you know, the fact is that our non-emergency number is answered pretty quickly as well, and it's the same folks that are answering those questions or answering the calls. 311 direct line to the 911 center if need be, and the other issue is you know, folks that can't speak English. I mean, you know, if you don't speak English, call. We have the capability to talk to anybody in any language, so that's not an issue either whether they call 311 or 911. We've got folks that can translate for us, and so we can communicate with everybody we need to.
Now, every year the good folks at the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce put on the Public Valor Awards, where they recognize public safety officers that have gone above and beyond the call in the last year. You just had that for 2012. Can you talk a little bit about some of the cases?
Yes, the cases that occurred in 2012.
Right.
Yes, police, fire, sheriffs, corrections, park police. The Chamber honors these men and women. It's a wonderful event. We had 13 police officers that were honored this year, and just, you know, we were pulling people out of burning buildings. We helped the fire department rescue someone from the tracks of the metro trains. But we had one case that where 3 officers were responding to the sound of shots fired on Eastern Avenue in Silver Spring, and these 3 police officers got there and were ambushed by a man with a gun. And when a couple of them got out of their cars, this man actually said game on and started shooting at these police officers right there on the street.
This was day, night?
It was at night, very dark, and so these police officers, you know, retreated for cover. They returned fire. A 3rd police officer came up and was able to get a good angle on the suspect, and was able to shoot the suspect. But what makes these officers heroes is a couple things. One, Officer Brian Walburn, William Wheel, Doug Miller. These were the 3 police officers. All 3 of them heroes, tremendous courage. Is that Officer Walburn had been shot. Didn't even realize until afterward that he had been shot. But they went after they had shot the suspect. They went, performed first aid, and were able to save the suspect's life. So all 3 of these men were just tremendously heroic, and they were honored at this Chamber of Commerce ceremony. 2 of them got Brian Walburn got a gold medal. William Wheel got a gold medal, and Doug Miller got a silver medal for their valor during this incident. And I think this is really a great example of the heroic, courageous kinds of men and women that are part of the Montgomery County Police Department.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, because people are doing their job every day.
Every day, and you just never know when you respond to, you know, a call that's dispatched what might happen. And in this case, you know, you get into a shootout. One officer gets shot. You know, you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us today, Chief.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us. Tune in again next month for the next edition of Montgomery County Police Beat. I'm Patrick Lacefield, your host. See you later.